Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to do something completely different from what we've been doing so far. So we've got Reaktor 6 today and we are going to build mainly this synth again. So we're gonna start from scratch and we're gonna build it essentially in primary. So if you guys like this kind of stuff, synthesizers, building synths, modules and stuff like that, stay tuned because it's going to be good fun. So for now I'm just trying to sort out my sound because I'm not sure if this is playing. Yeah, I guess you guys can hear on that side, so it's all good. And yeah, so essentially this is a 4 oscillator synth. We've got the oscillator mix here. We can mix between oscillator 1 and 2, oscillator 3 and 4 as well. Then we got the main mix for both oscillators, so synth 1 and synth 2. We've got an envelope, so we can create, let's have a look at it, create a different attack, decay, sustain and release with the ADSR. Let's see how it sounds. So if we increase the attack, it's going to take longer to get the note. Decay straight away. So yeah, we want the release as well a bit longer. We've got the VCF as well, so we can use a low pass filter, band pass filter, high pass filter and all that jazz. We've got the main level here, so we can increase or decrease. I can see on the scope if it is distorting, so at the moment it's okay. We also have the same, basically synth 2 is a copy of synth 1, there's no point on explaining it. And now the most fun part, it's in the bottom, which we are going to build as well today. It's the sequencer. So the sequencer is a 16-step sequencer, and this 16-step sequencer, basically it's a pitch sequencer. So playing these notes, it will play randomly this selection of notes. Let's have a look at it, how it sounds. By the way, this only plays now if I press play here. I can change the rate, make it faster or slower, that's what it means. And if I take this SG on, basically I will be able to play on my keyboards and change the notes myself. So I'm pressing C on my keyboard, the QWERTY keys as they are called. I'm pressing Q for C3, and now if I change it to G, it plays the same pattern but on the key of G. Okay, so basically essentially that's what we are going to look at today, and we are going to start straight away. So let's create a new ensemble. No, I don't want to save it. So okay, first of all we're going to remove the audio inputs. We don't need audio inputs, we just need the audio outputs. Everything else is basically primary stuff, which is called primary, so it's all these building blocks on Reaktor. We've got oscillators, pretty much sawtooth, triangles, parabola, sine, pulse, impulse, ramp, clock oscillator, blah blah. Then we've got math as well, so you can make divisions, multiplications, rectify signals from negative to positive, all that stuff. And oh, by the way, let me just have a look very quickly. Yeah, okay, cool. So to start building the synth, what we can do is create a macro, and I'm gonna call this oscillator 1. I'm not gonna build yet the instrument itself, it's gonna come after. So first we're gonna focus on building the oscillators. Oh, by the way, as usual, I mean, I've got a to-do list, and the to-do list has everything step by step. That what I'm gonna do, you guys can find it as well on the description below. So have a look at the description if you want to know what's gonna happen in this live session. And now just 1 second while I give this tea a sip. You all is welcome as well to chat with me on the chat. So leave your message if you want to. Subscribe to the channel if you're interested in music production or music. Smash the like button, all that good stuff. Let's try and get to as many people as we can with these lives. And yeah, let's go for it. Alright, as I was saying, we're going to start building very slowly the oscillator. So first thing we're going to need is the pitch input, note pitch MIDI in. We're going to need a gate as well, gate MIDI in. And you can access this menu by pressing enter on your keyboard. That's it. As long as you're on this side. Oops, I double clicked it. Didn't mean to. So with the note pitch, we're gonna press command, I believe. My keyboard is different than the ones in the Mac, so I never know if it's a command or an alt, but I think it's a command. So you alt command and drag the line, and we'll build an input on your macro. We're gonna call this P. We're gonna call this G for the gate. And that's it for now. Now we're gonna go in. We are going to put this to here, get some oscillators. So we got the sync oscillator. We got, what else can we use? Guess the triangle sync as well. We're gonna use the sync. However, I don't think we're gonna use the sync option here. It's basically, I don't know how to explain this. It says here, input for control of the waveform synchronization. Okay, if we look at this big boy here, it also has a key sync here and here at the bottom. So these two, what happens is every time I press a key, the oscillator resets to 0. So you press a key on your keyboard, the oscillator resets to 0, and it starts again while you press that key. Now, I've tested these sync oscillators on Reaktor. They don't do the same. So I was thinking they would be doing the exact same thing, but no, they don't do the exact same thing. So that's why we are going only to use pitch and amplitude for now. We've got also the option for frequency modulation, but it's not our aim to build FM synthesis on this video. We're just gonna build a very basic synthesizer that we can then play with the sequencer, yeah? Those are the two main things. So let's go back to the to-do list. So we're gonna build 2 oscillators with the mix, range, shape, and tune. And this is gonna be very fun to do, especially the range bit, because we're gonna use lamps as well. So as I was saying, we're gonna need a sine sync oscillator, and we are going to need a pulse sync oscillator. So the way I like to do this is sine, triangle, saw, and pulse, which seems to be the most common way of positioning your waveforms in any synth. We can have a look on the Behringer Neutron. It's not the way they do it. Well, technically it is, but it's the other way around. It starts with the sine at the bottom, but who cares? Anyway, let's go pitch. We're gonna plug the pitch into the pitch input. We're gonna plug the gate into the gate input. and we're gonna do it for every single oscillator. Now the gate, essentially what happens in the gate is, oops, not meant to be that. What happens with the gate is every time I press a key on my keyboard, it gives a signal of 1, yeah? And that will determine the amplitude. So the amplitude of this waveform is between -1 and 1. If we give one signal from the gate, it will start the waveform. We're going to see on the oscillator. So let me just quickly get from the library the scope. I'm going to connect it here so you guys can see. So we got the scope here, and we are going to connect it to the out, and you guys can see the amplitude is 1. So technically the amplitude is not reaching 1, but should be like 0.6 something. We can also get a numeric readout to read that value. Oh, not the pitch, the gate. And yeah, 0.6299. And I guess this is so the waveform does not clip at all, yeah? So we're gonna keep the numeric readout because it's good for debugging purposes. We're also gonna keep the scope so we can have a look at our waveforms, how they behave, etc. And now what we're gonna do is we are going to create the shape knob. So the shape knob is basically to select from these 4 waveforms. So let's get, I think it's a selector. I can't remember now exactly, but yeah, bear with me while I try to figure this bit out. So event processing now, where is it? Signal path, no crossfade, relay. I think it's a relay, yeah. Will it be? Relay the upper input connected to the output. If no. There's the function, yeah, it's not relay definitely. Selector scanner, I think it's a selector scanner. Yes, and basically selector scanner, we're going to connect all the waveforms into it. And we are going to create a control. So if you guys want to create a control straight onto this option, onto this option. What did I say before? Completely forgot. So if you guys want to connect a control straight into this option here, which is the position, what you guys can do is very simple. Right click on it, create control, boom, done. Now you've got a fader, but you guys can change it for a knob, and I want a knob. So I'm gonna use a knob to select the position of this selector. Now let's connect this to the output and let's see if it's working as we want. So let's stretch the waveform and see it changes according to the position. Yep, so the shape is changing, and as well as you can see, you guys can have different shapes. By the way, we want this to actually be in step sizes of 1, I guess. The minimum value of 3, actually the maximum value of 3 and the minimum value of 0. So let's have a look. No, we want steps of 0.1, and I'll tell you why. Because you can get weird waveforms. So if I stop the scope, how do you do that? Yeah, so you can see that this is becoming a triangle wave, but it kind of has a sine wave still on it. So it's a sine triangle wave, and this is cool to do that. There's selectors, so you can build these weird waveforms. So let's position this here. That's our selector. Our position is going to be there. output. What else do we need? So we got the selector for the waveforms. One thing that I'm going to do is add the value. We don't need the value. So show value, you can take it off. And we're going to call this shape instead of position. So it's the shape of the waveform. So let's take this off. So what's next on the list? So mix, we've done the mix. Range. Okay, range. Range. I found a very cool way to do this using a sequencer. I'll tell you in a second how, because I'm going to need the sequencer first. So we're going to need the 6-step sequencer. And the clock also, let's start by explaining this. Sorry. So the clock gets signal, a positive signal, and it changes the section from section 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, and onwards. Yeah. So for you guys to have a look at this, let's plug the numeric readout. By the way, you guys can say hi on the chat if you want. There's 3 people watching. You can say hi and ask questions if you want to. So as I was saying, clock, we're going to create a button, and we're going to create, I think it's a toggle button. I can't remember now, but we'll have a look at that. In the function, oh no, it's a trigger. And every time we trigger it, it changes the section here. I think it's called section. Step, yeah. Super tired. So let's click the button, and on the numeric readout, it doesn't change because, oh yeah, we're on the wrong one. So as you can see, every time I push the button, it changes the step. This is the output of the number, step number, yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Got a 6-step sequencer, so it's all good. So now we're going to build constants here, and we want, for the range, we want the C3 notes, C2, C1, and C0. So we're going to do 0, 12, 24, and 36. By the way, let me save this because I've been having a few problems with this Reaktor, so let's just save it here. It's live session. And we are going to create subtraction. So this, we're going to subtract this number from our pitch, and I'll show you what's going to happen. So that's our pitch, that's our sequencer, and every time, I think I needed something here to compare the values. Yes. So yeah, so compare equal, because when the step is equal to 4, we want it to reset. So resets at 4. Okay, so let's have a look. Where's the numeric readout? I think I killed it. We shouldn't do that. Okay. Numeric readout. God damn it. And now if I press the button, which is range in this case, one, 2, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, why 0, 1? Ah, because we're not in the right place. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. So it's resetting every time we reach that 1, it goes back to 0. Now, how does this sound? Now, I got that connected there, perfect. Okay, let's play this. Move that, play. Oh, we need to connect to the output as well, so we can listen to what we're doing. And just create a mixer just to be able to control the level so it's not very high or something like that. So in we went in. I want to kill this too. Connect the mixer here, and now we're gonna put the level there. Perfect. Check it on OBS, see if everything's all right. Perfect. Right, back to the oscillator. So we're doing the range now. Perfect. So as you can see if I connect it to step, I'm on step 4. Now I'm on 1. Step 2, 3, 4, -0, -12, -24, -36, which is basically the octaves. Yeah. Perfect. With this done, what can we do? Shape is done. Tune, fine tune. Yeah, we can create a fine tune. Oh, but before I forget, we need something here before we finish this. We need the lamps to inform which range are we playing. Yeah. So we're gonna do this again. Copy paste. Nope. We are going to get that button there, the range button. We are going to get this compare as well connected to the reset. And I might need a macro for this, otherwise it's going to be a lot of stuff in here. Okay, let's build this inside the macro. It's much better that way. Let's Command C this inside the macro. Let's create an input. This is going to be the clock. And another input for the reset. Now, let's create an output, which is the step. So we can connect to... No, we don't need to connect it. No. What we need is the output for each lamp. L1, okay, L2, L3. If you guys don't know what I'm doing, don't worry, we'll get there eventually. And L4. So step 1, step 2, step 3, and step 4. Now. Oscillator. Let's create the lamps. I think I forgot something inside the macro, but that's fine. And the lamp is going to be... Oh, that can also disappear. We don't need it. Can add this lamp next to the range. Let's take off this function. No, not the function. The label. We don't need the label because we're gonna write the label ourselves, or maybe not. Maybe we do. 1. No, 0. Now paste, paste, and paste. 0, 8, 16, and 24. And the clock is going to be our range. And the reset is going to be this one. Now, one thing that I forgot is that we need a compare equal module as well. Well, no, we're going to need 4 actually. And we're going to compare this value with 0, 12, 24, let's put it up here a bit, and 36. Now we're going to connect the step into that input. L1. So what's happening is if it's 0, it's going to go light lamp 1, which is the one lit now. Oops, let's just move this out of the way and arrange them properly. So as I was saying, if it's step 1, it's going to be 0, so we're not doing any octaves down and up or down. If it's step 2, it's going to be minus 12. So if I press range, why is it not coming up? Let's see. Maybe I need that one to reset instead of the external one. So let's have a look. Connect all the lamps. Okay. So we are on 0. We should get something in here. What is that? What's happening? Let's create constants instead. So 0. It's for a better perception anyway. Uh, 24. 36, 12, and 0. Oh, I see why. We connected the output instead of the... There we go. So the step is now connected to all of them. 0, 12, 24, 36. Still nothing. Let's swap A for B. I usually put the constants in B. Yes, that should be working. For some reason it's not, but would it be... Let's have a look on my other project just to make sure that I didn't F up something. Okay, so when I've built here the oscillator range, I've connected the output. Yes, I did connect the output. And I sent that one to reset it. So, and it's working fine like that. Okay. And I've also did something much better than I'm doing on the other synths, which is I've only used one sequencer. So let's do that as well. Project 1, now live session. Let's kill this and that as well. Keep the wrench out. We don't want it inside the macro because the macro is not visible. Now, output. Now I'm gonna do this as well. Connect the outputs. Oops. This output is going there. Okay, now we got it. So all we need now, what is it? That can go 0, 12 minus connected. What's happening now? Ah, yes, the gate's not connected. Why? Might have removed it. G. There we go. Oh no, we need to connect all of this again. Such a pain in the ass. And the pitch was not connected too. Perfect. Let's put the gate here. Nice. Right, it's working. We can now select and know which octave we are. So perfect. Excuse me. Let's have a look here. Now, mix. Okay, range, shape, and tune. We're missing the tune, so we need a knob from -1 to 1. It's called the tune option, and we are going to add it here if I could. Okay, what we'll do is let's sort this out a little bit. Let's put this back, and I'm gonna call this tune. Generally it's called fine tune, but we'll call it tune for now. Let's keep the numeric readouts as well so we can debug, as I was saying. Disconnect that, create an addition, and we're gonna add the value of this tune, which is -1 and 1, to the value coming out from the key I'm pressing, and that is going straight into the pitch input of all the oscillators. And I've killed the gate again. Can't believe it. Oh no, it's not. It's dead. All good, all good. So now if I detune it, it's working fine. Perfect. Got the first oscillator done. So we're gonna call this macro oscillator 1. and I'm gonna get a SIGI. Right, so for oscillator 2, we're going to duplicate this one, and that's it. I'm going to call it oscillator 2. All we have to do now is just have it here. We've got our level control, 2 oscillators, the range of the oscillator, 2 numeric readouts, we only need 1. So let's see how it sounds, both oscillators together and out of tune. Oh, but first of all, I might need to create the mix. Okay, let's do that first, and then we'll test it. To create that mix button that's going to give us a bit more of oscillator 1 or oscillator 2 or both, we need a knob and a signal path, which is basically a crossfade. So I'm going to connect the output of both oscillators in here. I'm going to create a control button, which is called oscillator mix. And yeah, that's going to be a knob. I don't want this big vertical fader. I'm going to make it smaller. Let's remove the value, we don't need it. Level, we can also, I think we can make it a knob as well. It takes too much space, that shit. Oscillator mix level, perfect. So we've got something. Now, what do we need to do? Connect to the mixer, and that's it. We want the scope here. So we're going to put 2 sine waves together. As you can see, the amplitude as well went up. We need to control that using the level. Interesting. And I can give more oscillator 1 if I want, and or oscillator 2. Okay, so we've got the oscillator, the 2 oscillators mix, range, shape, and tune done. You can underline it to know that it's done. Now we are going to create the filter, and the filter is going to be super simple. We are going to use, first of all, we're going to build a macro. We're going to build a macro. We are going to connect the output to the macro. And this is, yeah, we can call it in, it's fine. And we know it's coming from the crossfade, which is coming from that fader there. We're going to move that macro over here, which is the filter. And now we can start thinking about building the filter. And the filter, I mean, there's a lot of options, but we don't really want much. We want just this one, I guess. It's got the pitch control, which controls where the filter is. So if it's at 200 Hz or at 2000 Hz. It's got resonance. Resonance is this here, so we can get more frequencies out of it. Got the input, but we're going to connect that signal coming in, which is the oscillator. And now controls for both cutoff and resonance. We also need to create a list So we are able to select which filter we want. We can get an high pass filter, 2-pole, band pass filter with 2-pole, low pass filter with 2-pole, band pass and a BL. I can't remember what it is. Output for the 1-pole high pass and 3-pole low pass filtered signal. Frequencies below the cutoff frequency are damped by 6 dB per octave. Above the cutoff, they are damped by 18 dB octave. I see what he means. Okay, fine. Right, so on the list now, we're going to get append. I'm going to append 6 entries. And the first entry is HP2, or yeah, HP2. We're going to put HP2, it's fine, we know what we're talking about. BP2, band pass, 2-pole, low pass, 2-pole, which is a less aggressive filter. Band pass 4-pole, which is a more aggressive filter. BL4, which is a mix between the 2-pole and 4-pole, as we read, and LP4 6. Okay, perfect. From the list, we're gonna select a scanner. Gonna connect this to position 0. Position 1, 2. One thing that is very important, the 6 entries values. Now we need to change this to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now we can connect the list, and whatever we choose in the list is going to be our filter. Okay, we can do that now because it's in the edit mode, but if we lock there, we should be able to select something, but we still need to output it. So we're going to create an out and connect it there, so we can connect our 2 oscillators into it and start creating some crazy sounds. Okay, let's get into the mixer. Perfect. So the change so far is note, pitch, and gate to both oscillators, so we can play. Oscillator mix, so we can mix both oscillators, and now the filter, so we can filter frequencies in both oscillators. And now what we can do. Oh, I hate when this happens. It just triggers forever. Yeah, okay. Yes, I want to save it. Right, so let's choose. Yeah, that should be all right. We need the controls, which are underneath the list, so let's first get the controls before we start filtering. Okay, perfect. Okay, we can modulate this with an LFO, which will do that later. Now I think it's time to build an envelope generator, and the envelope generator, sorry, the envelope generator, it's going to be in a different macro, envelope, and the envelope generator needs the gate. Yes, needs to be triggered by the gate, so we're going to disconnect the gate from here, connect it there, and then connect the gate there, and that's it. Now it's going to be out, this is going to be G, so we know it's the gate. Perfect. What we need now is an ADSR. There it is. We're gonna connect the gate here. Output. And now controls for the ADSR, the envelope. Cool. Now let's leave it like this for now. We'll do the graphics user interface in a second. Oh yeah, that was completely stupid to do this. Anyway, let's keep it like this and let's have a play. Perfect, so we got the ADSR done. What else do we need? Let's check the to-do list. Filter and envelope done. Mix oscillator 1 and 2 done. Oh, but that was already there. Okay, LFO to pitch, filter cutoff frequency, and oscillator mix. That's gonna be fun. So we want to modulate this. We want to modulate that as well, and we want to modulate the filter cutoff frequency, which is that one there. How to do that? Let's have a look at how to do that. But first, let's smoke a cigarette and see if more people arrives in the live. Yeah, I'm just checking. Why is the live not going? It's not reaching many people at the moment. Just checking why, really. By the way, if you guys enjoy our stuff, if you guys been watching the video and if you reached to this point, and if you enjoyed it so far, subscribe because there will be more stuff coming up. I'll be doing more videos and more live music labs about synths and stuff that basically we can use on music production, plugins, anything really. I've been doing live sessions on Ableton, but today I decided a bit of Reaktor just to be slightly different. Build the synthesizer in the sequencer, and yeah, that's what we're doing now. So if you guys enjoyed it, smash the like button, leave a comment or chat with us on the chat, and yeah, see you very soon here in the channel. So let's crack on. I didn't find the reason why this is not working. Let's have a look here on YouTube. Why? YouTube Studio. I might have effed up on the tags, to be honest. That's why it's not reaching many people. Ah, yes, of course. Yeah. Sunday music. So I've made some of the tags, not done yet. Let's see if we can get more people if I actually do this. So just bear with me for a second while I do that. Why is Reaktor tutorials not working? Reaktor tutorials should definitely work. Reaktor tutorial. Synthesizer, yeah. Synth as well. Music lab, very important. think that's it. We don't need more. Perfect. Let's save this, see if more people joins our live. Cool. So if you join now, don't worry and don't be shy. Just say out in the chat. Hello. And if you have any questions about Reaktor, yeah, just pop them over. Yeah, let's have a chat about Reaktor. It's some cool stuff happening here. We've got 2 oscillators. 1 oscillator mix to mix between both oscillator 1 and 2. We've got the level of the oscillators. We can also select the range of the oscillator so we can get a lower sound. And we also got the tune knob so we can detune both oscillators to sound a bit more deep. This sounds boring. Let's detune it and make it sound a bit better, but not too much. We also got the cutoff frequency for the filter to make these crazy sounds, the resonance of the filter, and we can choose which filter we want to use. Here we got the envelope generator, which chooses the attack, decay, sustain and release of the notes. So if I do a very short attack and a very short release, that's it. You press and release and the note just dies. Whereas if I increase them, the note stays for longer. Perfect. Let's go. Move forward to, I think it's the LFO. LFO to pitch. So we basically are going to create an input on our oscillator called LFO. So let's go in here. Create an input called LFO in. Another one here. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's correct. LFO in. And that we're gonna mess with the pitch, so let's do something here, which is lower this down and add the LFO in straight here. But the LFO in, I think we need to multiply it because it comes with an amplitude of 1 and we need the amplitude to be bigger so it can affect the pitch as well as the cutoff frequency. So basically every single thing that we have that has a pitch in, we need to multiply the LFO output due to the amplitude so we can get a bigger waveform. You guys are gonna see that, what I mean. That down, LFO in, perfect. Macro. LFO. Now the LFO has got sine, triangle and pulse. We are going to connect it to the scope, so let's connect that to an output so we can see what's happening in the scope. But with a crossfade, I think, yeah. We're gonna do essentially the same as we were doing on the oscillators. We're gonna get a shape knob to get the 3 shapes, and we're also gonna use these. Is this one? Symmetry, yeah, we're gonna use this W here, width, I think. Yeah, it's for the pulse width, but it also controls the sine and the triangle. It's not just for the pulse. So let's create control here for the frequency. So I'm gonna call it LFO rate. The amplitude is going to be either 1 or we can control it with the gate. If we control it with the gate, it means that the LFO starts only when we press a key on our keyboard, and the LFO will play the frequency out. If we put 1, the LFO is constantly moving. Hello, Maria Santos. Hope you're doing well. And yeah, let's go for select a scanner. That's it, because the selector scanner gives us more inputs, I guess, compared with the crossfade. And we also need to add this into linear, which is already by default, or sine. No, linear is fine. And now we don't want that. We want a knob, and the knob is going to be the shape again, not position, shape, but it's going to be LFO shape because it's part of the LFO shape. Let's remove the value. Let's remove all the values. In fact, don't need the values. Change the macro name for LFO. Perfect. And okay, do we want to play with the gates or do we want to keep it constantly on? We can have both. I think it's a good choice to have both on, both amplitude at 1. So let's create a constant of 1, and we're gonna create another input, which is the gate input. Now, event processing. I keep forgetting where it is. A signal path. Select scanner relay. No. Order iteration route. Where is that? I didn't find out. Definitely not. It should be. Oh, it's the relay, of course. So when the relay is on, we're going to create a control, which is the button. We're going to call it gate on. We want it as a toggle. I think it's correct. If it stays on, yeah, toggle button, definitely. So when the gate is on there, we're gonna get the signal from the gate coming from when I press a key. If the gate is off, or not light, if there is no light, I mean, like it is now, a signal of 1 will come through and it keeps playing forever and ever. Now, the width, we're gonna check now. If everything is all right first, let's connect the gate here as well. Hey, sweetie. So, yeah, there you go, LFO. It's a very, very long frequency. 5,000 milliseconds, wow. And yeah, now let's try move the shape. I need a triangle. Yes. Okay, so we got, I know what's happening. We need to change the minimum and maximum values again. So 0 to 2 and the default at 0. There we go. And we can create weird waveforms as well for this LFO. And now, if I press a key, will it start? No, because there we go. With the gate on, as you can see, I'm not pressing a key, but as soon as I start pressing the key, a waveform is created on the LFO, and now we can modulate what we want to modulate. So what do we want to modulate? once again, we want to modulate the pitch of the oscillators. Both oscillators we want to modulate. There. Now, I was saying, for those that just arrived, and if you guys want to say hi in the chat, like Maria and Claudia did, feel free to do it. If we want to mess around with the pitch, we will need to multiply the LFO output, which in this case is input because we're receiving the signal in this macro. We will need to multiply it by a big number. So the reason is because, as you saw, the amplitude is from -1 to 1. And if it's between -1 and 1, it will basically do the same as what this tune knob is doing, just affecting a little bit. Now, if you want it to affect a lot, either we can control the LFO depth in both oscillators by creating another knob, and we can do that. So just to demonstrate, let's call it LFO depth. Or in fact, we don't want the LFO depth there. We want it maybe here in the LFO. So multiplication, not this one. We want to multiply, and we're going to multiply this signal. Cheers, mate. See you soon. Control LFO depth, and that's what's going to determine what we're sending to everywhere we want to send the LFO. So all the values will be this value coming out of the LFO instead of having different values here, there, and there, and there. Which there's no right or wrong way to do this, honestly. We don't want to multiply by 0 though. We want the maximum to be about 30. There's no, as I was saying, there's no right or wrong way of doing this. Why is it giving me this weird number? We could have a LFO that here on the filter as well to do that, but one there I think is more than enough. We'll see later if we're gonna add that or not. Let's remove the value. We don't need the value. Oh, well, let's keep it for now. What we're gonna do now on both LFOs is we're gonna sum that signal at, so the signal coming from here, it's going in there. We can actually sum with the tune, it's fine, whichever value is, we don't care. That's going there, and now perfect. It's cool to create vibratos with an LFO actually. And if you take the gates, perfect, it's working pretty well. So let's crack on and connect it to oscillator 2. We're going to do the same addition onto that module there, that and that. It's working really well. Now VCF, we're gonna create an LFO as well. Input, LFO in, and now we're gonna mess with the cutoff frequency. So we're gonna remove that. We're gonna add the LFO output value to the cutoff, and let's see how it behaves. What we actually can do, I'm thinking this is quite redundant to be here. We can change this for an on and off button for the LFO. We don't need the gate on, honestly. And maybe just for the sequencer part, we will need it, but not now, definitely. We won't be needing it. So let's change this in a bit for LFO on or off. But let's see how it reacts to the cutoff. And why is it not? Is it multiply? I can't remember now. Maybe it's a multiply, yes. Let's try multiply. By the way, one thing that I forgot to do is make this visible. We can actually check the filter moving, which is quite nice, so we have an idea of what's happening. And if we turn it on here, we should be able to see it. There we go. 4-pole filter. Now, resonance. Let's remove the resonance. Yeah, it's not moving. It means that it's not being affected by the LFO yet. So let's multiply. And multiplying doesn't give me anything as well. It should. Where's the scope going? It's going from here. Okay, so we're taking the LFO, but the LFO shape is different now. Ah, no, it's not affecting. Yeah, that's what was needed. Always the same. Keep forgetting to. Sometimes I forget this crap, man. Okay. Now, LFO shape, I don't know why is it giving me this. It should be giving me a sine wave, really. Is it because it's clipping? I know why. Let's create another output, and that one is not a multiplied output. It's gonna call scope, and we're gonna see these now working. So this is for the scope. Let's create input now. Yeah, it was because of the amplitude. Literally, when you multiply by a massive number, like I am doing it now, it will look as a square wave here because it will be clipping. So it is done. We're modulating the LFO, pardon, the filter. So yeah, let's have a check on how to do list. LFO to pitch, filter cut off, done. Oscillator mix. I'm not sure if we're going for the oscillator 3 and 4. We'll have a look at that in a second. Let's remove that gate on. Yeah, if it's off, it will be constantly on. I mean, that's redundant. Let's crack on and do this. Move that. Perfect. Now, I'm thinking maybe here, that's where we are going to add that option of turning on the LFO to modulate the pitch. And we're going to call it pitch modulation. By the way, just send a quick message to a friend of mine that asked me to send a message for the live today, and I didn't. Completely forgot. Done. Relay, and now our favorite one. So once again, if the control is on, as it says here on the info for the relay, the upper input is connected to the output if CTL is above 0. So I'm gonna create control. I'm gonna call it LFO modulation, LFO mod in this case, modulation. If the LFO is not connected, we're gonna send a constant of 0 into the relay, and that's going to pass this value to the sum when this is off. So let's go up here. Let's check view small, maybe. Stick it in there, in between both tune and shape. Remove that numeric, we don't need it anymore. So let's have a look if it works. Not even gonna comment that, man. Yep, so LFO modulation off, we hear a single note. If it's on, now we got some kind of vibrato. Now all we can hear is that affecting the filter, which we are also going to create an LFO modulation button to turn it on and off. Now, I'm gonna do this for oscillator number 2, so let's just copy that. Cheers, Peter. Yeah, man. Glad you've been enjoying it. Yeah, sorry. I just need to copy something else, not everything. That, and that. Perfect. Cheers, Peter. Once again, man. That there. And we've got the LFO mod for our oscillator 2. Now, that and this can go. Let's put it there, the oscillator mix, the level for everything. So this is our master level, kind of. And, yeah. Yep, it's working. Another one for the filter. There we go. Oops. LFO in here. There. And sorted. Now let's readjust everything on the filter window because it's kind of looking like a mess. So resonance, maybe small button for the resonance here. Another small button for the cutoff here. The list is not a list, is the filter type. Filter type and the LFO modulation button there. Now filter type, one thing I gotta say about this is it only shows low pass filters. It doesn't show anything else. So if you want a band pass, which should be this curve like that, up and down when you mess around with cutoff, it just doesn't show. So expect only a low pass filter. They should put that, add that onto Reaktor 7. Please do that. It's so much better for debugging purposes and to know which type of filter really you actually using, you know. So with this said, the filter is done. We don't need much more than this. What's next here? Oscillator mix. Oscillator mix. How are we going to do that onto the oscillator mix? Gonna need that LFO modulation button again to affect the oscillator mix. And the oscillator mix is here in this crossfade. But the oscillator mix values is between what? 0 and 1. There's really not much that we can do about this, honestly. I think we should skip that. If the values were bigger than this, you would notice the difference because of this multiplication here. But since it's just between 0 and 1, there's no point. So yeah, I think we're done with the LFO. So that can go yellow. I will red this because I think we're fine with this setup so far. I don't think we need more than this. What we might do is rearrange this a bit better for now, before the break, because it's already 5:40 and I need the break for tea. So let's do something which is put them small. Oh, yes, completely forgot. It's just one at a time. It's boring. Put this on Reaktor 7.2, please. Attack, decay, sustain, and release. Gonna keep it here in the middle, like that. Filter. Can we actually decrease the size of this? Maybe 90. Cut off LFO modulation. Perfect. Yeah, that's really good. Now the LFO. The LFO, we can do, what we can do is that. There you go, folks. The GUI is pretty much sorted. What can we do about this space? Maybe put the level there, maybe. Yep. Okay. So this is how it sounds so far. And level, pan, and glide. Glide is a pain in the ass, man. Level and panning. For panning purposes, we're going to do different mixes. So event processing, now audio modifier, stereo mixer, there you go. It's essentially the same as this one here, but has the panning and light and raft outputs. So level, connect the level there. Input and the control for the panning. Voila. We don't want to show the values. All we want is this to be smaller, this to be smaller, that there, and smaller as well. Now we can pan it left to right, which is great. Perfect. So that's another thing done and dusted. Done and dusted. Well, I don't think we're going to glide. Glide doesn't work with the sequencer. I've tested it yesterday, and really, we're just building this synth for the sequencer purposes. We don't really need the glide. The glide just affects the pitch of the oscillator, but if you play every single note on the sequencer, it just doesn't affect the pitch really. Okay, so far we've got the synth done. We're now moving to the sequencer. So sequencer is going to be our next step. But first, I'm going to take a break, 5 minutes break that I usually do after 1 hour of session. Excuse me. And I'll be right back to crack on with the sequencer, guys. Thank you so much for watching so far. If you guys enjoy this Reaktor stuff and music production in general, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We've got a video coming up on Wednesday as well. Brand new video. We've just been recording today the visuals of it. And yeah, after this session, I'm going to mix those 3 songs actually. It's 3 songs. And I'm going to mix them down to be ready for Wednesday. And yeah, next week we're going to be using this super cool sequencer synth that I'm building now. So I'll see you in 5 minutes. And welcome back. So we were going to start the sequencer now, and it's a pitch sequencer. So once again, it's going to affect the pitch in our oscillators. We don't want to really use it for any other purpose, really. We want something to create music with it, so it's going to be on the pitch. So I'm going to create an input if for our sequencer. It's going to be called sequencer in. And once again, we're going to need to sum this with something here. So I guess we can do that with the LFO modulation. So we're going to need another add module. And we're going to take the sequencer input and add it with our LFO. This essentially could have been done in one module. There's another thing that they could actually do on Reaktor 7 is make this module able to connect more than one input, because, oh, hold on, you can actually do that. Right, let's do it then. Let's remove all these modules. Let's make sure that I didn't remove anything that it's needed. And we're going to do that. I didn't know about this. So now, yeah, we've got everything in the same addition. So we're adding the sequencer input with the LFO, the pitch that is coming from when I press a key, MIDI pitch, let's call it, and the tune, which is this knob here that tunes the knob, tunes the knob, no, tunes the note, sorry. Let's take this. Right, now what we can do is sort this out a bit better. It's kind of plays around with my OCD. And yeah, put that up there, much better. Oof. We're gonna kill this oscillator and we're gonna copy oscillator 1 to become oscillator 2, because I don't want to really do that again. Gate, note pitch, LFO, and all good. Let's create a macro with the name of sequencer, and we're gonna plug it straight in here, do the same there, and start working on it. So for the sequencer, we've got a bunch of options here. 6-step, 8-step, 12-step, 16-step, but I'm going to use the multiplex 16 because of this option here, the length option. This is a fantastic option that allows me to reduce the length of this sequencer. So I can have a 6, 7, 8, 9, X number of steps I want. And that's why I'm using this multiplex. And now we're going to start to build the clock for this. And the clock, we're going to use this module called song position MIDI. And this is very important. Source for the song position counted in 96 notes from the song start. So it counts each bar at 96 notes. What you have to do with this is plug it into a modulo. It says there, plug in 96 to A, and typically it connects this to input A of the module, which is this one. and a constant of 6 to the B input to get a 16 note count at the division output. So if we connect a constant of 6 here, what is happening is we're dividing 96 by 6, and that division is going to give us a 16 bar. However, we want to be able to choose between the rates, not the rates, between the number of notes inside the bar. So we might want a full note, which is not a full note, sorry, 4 notes, which is 1 tempo of a bar, which we're going to divide by 96. So 96 divided by 96, sorry, no. This is a full note, and that's, let's put a numeric readout first. it's the best option. Excuse me. So sequencer numeric readout. As you can see, it's counting the song position. This is going to go infinite because this is not a DAW. First of all, on the DAWs, you got the stop button, and when you press stop, for instance, in Ableton, you reset it to 0, so the song position goes back to 0. Okay. In this case, since we're dividing this by 96, it's going to go super slow, but see what happens when I divide it by 6. It just gives me that huge number. When I press play, it's faster. Yeah, so what we're going to do is gonna kill that, disconnect the numeric. Oh, can keep it there still. Gonna divide 96 by a list of numbers. So we're gonna create a list here. It's better if we get it from here. And that list of numbers, I'm sorry, I'm looking at my my notes here because this is quite tricky. There's a few things here that needs to be added into this sequencer because otherwise it won't work as expected. So the list numbers, we are going to append about 6 entries, I think. We've got alpha note, quarter note, well, 1, one quarter T, 1/8, 1/8 T, oops, and we're going to append 4, no, sorry, that one is not needed, 2 more, which is 1/16 and 1/16 T, and the values, completely forgot the values. I've done this during last week. I hope I've got in my notes. No, I don't have it in my notes, so we need to go back to the other sequence that I've built to check those list numbers very quickly. And they should be somewhere here in this list. And I'm going to take a picture just for the sake of it, so we make sure we don't make anything wrong. And we're going to go back to the other project, live session project. And now we are going to add those values here. So 1, you divide by 1, 96 divided by 1 gives you 96, 96 divided by 96 gives you a full note. And yeah, the second one will be 2, 1/4 will be 4, this one will be 6, 8, 12, 16, and 24. Perfect. What we need to do now, go back to my notes. Where are they? Where are they? Here. Now, I've seen this in a very nice YouTube video from these guys called ADSR. The guy's name is Salamander Anagram. It's a tricky name, let's say. But he's super good at this, man. He's the guy that guided me through Reaktor when I was in university. So, literally, I've learned everything from him. And he does this step filter thing. But I guess I do understand why. So an event is only passed if the input value is larger or smaller than the previous input value with plus or less toll. Okay. Now we need that to add it to a merge module, and that merge module will allow us to connect to the position, but we're still missing some bits. Yeah, I honestly don't know why. Can't explain this. Honestly, this step filter, I cannot explain it with the merge. And the merge event merger, all events of all inputs are transmitted to the output, so it merges two events into the position. But I guess this is a safe way of telling the multiplex 16 that we're sending only once, okay? Because the position, each event at this input results in an event out the outputs. To run select 16 as a sequencer, the position is set to a number of 16 nodes that have passed since start reset. I mean, it's crazy. I understand this bit. We getting the song position. We are dividing using the module with this list of rates to get the rate of this sequencer. But from here, I'm completely lost, man. But we're gonna still use it because I know it's part of it and it's needed. And now another thing that we're gonna need is the start stop MIDI in. And this is going to be very useful for Ableton. So when we're running this sequencer in Ableton, this is going to be needed, definitely. So what happens here is when you press play, it counts, it sends a gate signal, right? When you stop, it resets the sequencer. And that's what we're going to use this for. We're going to use this to reset the sequencer with this value. So it triggers. So when this changes value, when the reset changes value, it will send a trigger to the merge. And that trigger is going to be 0. And then we'll restart our sequencer from that position. Yeah. Without this, your sequencer will stop at 6, and when you play it back, it will start at 6. This is useful to reset the position of the sequencer. Now, next, what we need to do is we need to send the sequencer signals only when we want. So once again, we're going to have the on and off button for the sequencer. But first, I think it's time for us to create controls for our sequencer. And we're going to have to create 16 controls. Oops, no, we don't want a constant. Control times 16. Oh boy. Is there a way to make this have the control straight away without even doing this? It's so boring to do this every time we want to build a sequencer. And then what you have to do is change this from 12 to -12 because we want it to affect pitch, and those are the numbers. Oh boy, here we go. 12, minus 12, 12, minus 12, again. So we are changing the values of the pitch. That's why it's 12 and minus 12, which it means is 1 octave above or 1 octave below. So if you're playing C3, you can go up to C4 or down to C2. So 12 and minus 12. Where were we? 7, yep. 12 minus 12. 12 and minus 12, and I'll have to do this 6 more times, unfortunately. 12 and minus, oops, 12 and minus 12. Nearly done, guys. Just bear with me for a second. All right, we reached the number 15, which is our 16th step. Yeah, all good, all good, 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 good. Yeah, I think everything is fine. Now we're going to start distributing them on our panel. 14, 15, 13. Oops, 11. Nine, 8, yeah, I'm gonna have to make them small as well. I think it takes longer doing this than actually doing the sequencer inside the panel. Seven, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay. Four, 3, yep. Super windy. Right, okay, so that's our sequencer. Gonna put it in the bottom. The lists here. Gonna call it rates instead of list. This numeric, yeah, that's just the numeric readout for debugging, but we can actually start thinking about turning it into a step, so we know which step we're on. And yeah, now can we start playing with it? Not yet, because we still need to send this to the pitch via the output, but we want it only when it's on. So I'm going to create that relay controlled by button, which is a trigger. Excuse me. The output to number 1, and we need a constant as well. And once again, we're only sending signal when this is on, which is the output of the sequencer. Otherwise, we're sending 0 to be added to our pitch sum here, so it doesn't affect the pitch at all. Okay. Moving forward, where's the sequencer? It's here. So moving forward, we need to we need to send a gate signal to but first let's just test this if this is working. On off. So let's have a look. Oh, maybe it's not trigger. No, toggle. It's changing the step, but not sending any signal. Why is that? Let's have a look at our division. Yeah. Position. Yeah. Step. Yeah. Why is it not changing? So let me just make sure. Yeah, that's fine. That's completely fine. I don't know. Would it be because of the gate? I'll tell you what. Let's add the gate. Oh my God, no. No. I just found out something very it's here, which is we need to change this again to step size of 1 to avoid this 0.31s and stuff like that. Step size 1. Completely forgot about this part. That's fine. Cool. Perfect, it's working fine. All we need to do now is just tell Reaktor if we want to use the gate of our keyboard or the gate of the sequencer, and that's another option that we can add in here. So do we want to send the gate? So yes, okay, on my notes I have an and, a logic and, actually logic and here where I connect the on. So when the sequencer is on, we're also sending the gate of the sequencer. We don't need to choose if we want the key gate or the sequencer gate. Now we're gonna send a gate, output for the gate. I'm gonna call it G, and when this is on, now that was me playing. So here we need to choose a NAND gate. So let's have a look on the internet. Logic and gate, the truth table of the logic and gate. I can check on Wikipedia, it's fine. Analytical representation, when both are 1, sends a 1 out, but we actually want when 0 and 1 is 0, when I press the key on the keyboard, sends a signal for the gate, but I don't want, when both of them are pressed, I don't want them pressed and send a signal. So it's exactly the other way around of this, but we need 0, 1, 1, 0 here. And I think that's a NAND gate. NAND gate, NAND gate. Where can I find NAND gate truth table? Yeah, it sends a 1 when both are off. How am I gonna sort that out now? Let's check all the logic gates here. Logic and logic. Oh god. Logic XOR. The XOR is the output is true. The output is true when one of the inputs is true, but not both. That's exactly what we want. So let's take that out. Gonna get that and that here, and gonna take the output here. So let's put a numeric readout as well for debugging. Let's see what is he saying. Numeric readout at the moment says 0 because nothing is being pressed, but if I press a key on my keyboard, but the sequencer is on, so it's still sending a signal. Don't like you. Oh, I see. Only when it plays. So it kills when the play is active. Yeah, makes sense now. Yeah, when the play is active, we get the signal back to 0 on our XOR gate. So I'm pressing the key and I've got the sequencer on play, which is very important. So I get a 0 value. If I take my hand off the keyboard, it becomes 1 because the sequencer is on. Now if I turn this off, it becomes 0 again because nothing is being pressed. But when I press the key, it's playing the key and it's sending signal. So that's exactly what we want, and we've finished it. I think. Let's have a look at the to-do list. I mean, that's fine. Sequencer done, on and off, sequencer gate, perfect. We've done everything. We've basically reached the end of the synthesizer. Now what we can do is, once again, turn the visuals a bit better using the panel. But I don't think there's much to do here. Let's just do that a bit to the left, that one there, that there, that there again. Okay, yeah, perfect. Now, guys, if anyone watching that likes this kind of stuff, if you guys have a question, pop them in now because I'm about to leave. I'm just going to test this in Reaktor, in Ableton, and should be shooting off very soon, guys. So it's nice, a good time to ask some questions if you want to. Excuse me. Oh gosh, this tea. It's very good. Anyway, let's crack on. Just gonna change the size of these buttons here. Small. That one too. Oh god. Yeah, going there. Oh yeah, the steps are wrong as well. It should start on 1 to 16, but who cares? Yeah, I mean, to arrange that, all you have to do is sum one up here, and that's it. Small, let's create small buttons, small buttons, small buttons. This one can go down here. What have I missed here? Oh yeah, it's 8 not 6. My maths is completely gone today. Fuck me. Now, yes. Took me a while, yeah. And that's it. Sequencer on and off here. Perfect. Oh yeah, I forgot the lamps. We still need to do the lamps for the sequencer, so it shows where it is. Yeah, let's do that now. I actually have that macro done because it's such a pain in the ass that I've already built it. So there's no point. I can show you what's happening in here. It's literally the same as what's happening in the sequencer, but with driving lamps to each individual step, so it lights up when it's on that step. Let's have a look on how to do it. So let's move all these boys down here a bit. Let's create the lamps. So that lamp here. One thing that I'm going to do is, oops, remove the label. See, it's already on when it goes to 0. You guys are going to see it working now. Lamp 2. Lamp, lamp, lamp. Gonna need a bunch of them for now. Well, I could actually just copy the other one. We don't need a label. Guessing this is number 3, number 4, or 3. Oh, yeah. The steps are wrong. This is wrong as well. It's going from 0 to 15, as I said. Yeah, Command C, Command V. Over this one. Number 4. It's the other way around. Perfect. Four more, and then arrange everything for OCD purposes, because I hate messing in Reaktor. Messes, I mean, not messing. Okay, perfect. So we've achieved all the lamps so far. Now position them properly here. Oops. Okay, let's grab one by one. We are on 6. Which one is 7? That should be 9. Okay, if you want to move it, move it. Don't care. Now go back. That one, that one, that one, that one. Okay, cool. It's missing one. Where's this one? Let's take the label and put it in its place here. Okay. That's it. Now we know where we're playing. We can also control the length here with this controller I'm going to create now, which I forgot completely. The length is from 0 to 15. Let's push the rate up a bit, or maybe put the step up here. Makes more sense. Stepping right down. The length. Let's lock it and see. Okay, it goes to 16. Why is it not making input from 1 to 16? What I've got on my notes for this. We also need to connect it here. Yeah, no, yeah. So I'm on step 10, should come up until 9 because it's 0 to 9. Yeah, if I put it to 14, should come up till here. Yeah, it's working fine. Let's put it on. Now LFO rate, no, not this rate, sorry, that rate. Perfect. Let's try on Ableton for the sake of it, and then we're done for today. Where is Ableton? There you go. Back to build, open up our live sesh synth, and the scope could actually come up here. Yeah, much better. Right, so Oscillator 2, why is it not playing? Because it's not connected to the crossfade, as I said. Yep. Yeah, I can actually change the pitch by pressing the key, so it's completely fine. I don't need to change anything or add anything to the sequencer. Everything is working perfectly. All we need to do is now finish the live and go chill out. Enjoy the rest of the Sunday, guys. Thank you very much for those who watched and for those who didn't watch. Hope you guys come up on next time. And yeah, I'll see you next Sunday potentially. You guys gonna hear from us on Wednesday with a new video. So don't forget to watch it, like, subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you soon. Take care, guys. Bye.